Good evening, viewers around the world. Good morning, good afternoon. You're tuned in to Real Talk Relationship Goal, our program for the global audience. Today, Friday, in this part of the world, it's Friday already, but in some other part of the world, it's Thursday, 27th July, 2023. So you're welcome to Real Talk. Real Talk is our program where we talk lively issues. We give priority discussion to very hot topics, valuable conversations. And I'm here today, Real Talk, with my colleague, my coordinator, brother, and friend, George, Sir George Chukwu from Canada. Sir George Chukwu, you're welcome to Real Talk.
Mike Godwin, well, thank you so much for having me here, and welcome viewers from around the world. It's another hot topic today, and we're going to be
thank you very much
through
for
it,
coming.
discussing it, dissecting it. Real talk. Here we are.
Real talk. So yes, I know your weather is good there. We are still having the heat.
Not really. We're hitting high. It's been a hot zone for the past few days, actually.
Good. So as weather is hitting high too, the discussion will be hitting high.
That's right.
Sir George, we're taking it further, saying some very vital issues that sometimes people don't want to talk about. We're talking why some people want to stay single in the midst of countless single people also around. So this episode, we're talking about this. A relative number of people in today's world are single, and a lot of them are not involved in any romantic relationship whatsoever. A lot of them are scared. A lot of them are looking at a lot of things, fear of having a family, fear of having priority, fear of being too, a lot of things. Some are also they don't want to step into that terrain. They prefer their comfort zone of staying single, being themselves, minding their business. So, George, this is a topic for today, and I know you're an expert on this. So let's talk about this, George. What is happening? We have the ratio from what we saw talking to some experts. The ratio out there is that there are 300 and in every 300 men and women, 300 men and women, about 28 to 45% of that number are staying single. Did you get that? So some of them are giving reasons. They are saying freedom of being themselves, staying single, the convenience. Some are saying they are afraid of getting hot. Some are saying that they prefer to live in their own world. They don't have that energy, that time to begin to look around, walk, talk, converse, and all that. And some say they don't have the flirting skills. Now, this is what the experts did in the survey. So, George, what is it? What's happening in the world? Why do we have singles in the midst of a lot of other singles too, George?
Well, one of the fundamental issues that we have when it comes to, being married is the institution of marriage before was highly respected, and women, attach that importance to themselves in order to to add value to themselves. But because of the emergence of, the new ways of living and the decline in the importance of marriage per se, where people now can say, oh, before it used to be that a man will marry a woman and the two families will come together and, you grow, with those two families, and then it's, branch out into others and others, all that kind of stuff. Right now, it is no longer that way. And it is no longer that way. Where families will come together, they would even, suggest to the son or to the, to their daughter who they might marry or whatever. So we look for values in marriage, and it was
Val-
very, very good in the past. But now those values have diminished, and
hmm,
statistically saying that marriage started declining in the 70s, and it's been in a rapid decline. Used to be that divorce was looked at as a very taboo thing to think about, talk less of doing it. When a woman is divorced, she's looked at then as somebody who is bad per se. And a lot of people would not like to attach that divorce situation to them. Now, you even start getting prepared for divorce before you get married, and that's what we
hmm,
call the prenup. So, so these are the things, the factors that are affecting it. And then also, it used to be like women might not be, you know, um, they take pleasure in raising their children at home, being a homemaker is a prideful thing. Right now, such is no longer the case. So there are so many factors that has been affecting the institution of marriage, and the reason why people now feel like, men per se, they feel like it's better to do bad on my own. I bring you in into my house, like most men would say. Then if you decide to divorce me, it's 50-50, whether you came with nothing or with something. So these are some of the things that are affecting the institution of marriage. People are
hmm.
easily to go out there right now and want to have a child on their own and raise the child on their own. I'm talking about women. Before, if you want a child, you want to get married before have a child. Now, many women actually will go and seek a man, the type of man they want to have a baby with, and then go and have that baby and prefer to raise the baby by themselves mostly, because just want the baby. So these are some of the factors that affect the marriage. Psychological issues, inability to communicate is another one of them. So
Inability to communicate. I like that part. Um, there's something that our audience needs to understand. God created human beings to interrelate. We're not supposed to be mink and in our closet hiding from the reality of life. The reality of life is relating with people, networking together, creating a relationship, and probably uh, taking making a family out of that relationship. So there is that thing you just said that I'm looking at, and that is that fear of people not wanting to get hurt. Some people feel their emotions are too precious. They don't want to get into any relationship so that nobody hurts them. But you can't. There's no somehow you get hurt. Is that not so, George?
no,
Somehow you will get emotionally bruised, even if it's not in a romantic relationship. Somebody somewhere will hurt our emotions.
but
Don't you think so?
it used to be like when you get married, nobody
Mhm.
thought about divorce. Nobody
Okay.
thought about divorce. Therefore, when you have issues, you decide to stay in the marriage and solve it. But right now, in relationship, people take the path of least resistance. I don't like your cooking. Therefore, listen, I'm out of here. Or I don't like the way you put your shoes when you come and put your socks all over. I'm out of here. Well, listen, I can do that on my own. I can go and get my own set because I can afford it. Those type of intolerance. But people fail to understand that it takes two to tango. And when they say that opposite attracts. They don't understand what it really means. To be complementary to one another does not mean similarity. It
Okay.
means that where your strength is, my weakness will be, so that you will feel my, with your strength, feel my weakness, and vice versa. That is the way it used to be. You find a man who is very outgoing. The woman doesn't like to go out a lot. They are
Mm.
compatible. You find a woman that likes to go out, but the man is a homebody. They are compatible. You find a clean freak in the house, and the other one is a slob. They are compatible. But what happens is you pick the areas where you are weak and allow that strength of the other partner to fill it up, and vice versa. You find where they are weak rather than complaining about it. If you are good in doing that, you can increase it so that you will fill their own deficiencies. So that's what marriage used to be, but it is no longer that. People are intolerant of one another. Their tolerance level has grown so thin that the slightest thing, the only thing they want is, I'm out. So that is why a lot of men, when they look at this statistically, the rate of divorce in marriages, and a lot of women, they say, well, hey, what's the need going over there to try? I don't want to get hurt. I'd rather be on my own, can do what I want when I want it. So that is part of the problem that we've been having in the institution of marriage. And besides, anyway, when you think about communication,
Mhm.
most of the Gen X and Gen Ys, they don't
Mm.
know how to communicate. You hold them up in a conversation, a normal conversation, they feel like you are abusing them because they don't know how to communicate with you. So what they do is they use their social media to type things, and that's what they do. So when you want to have a common conversation, just common conversation, social conversation with them, they don't know what to say because they don't know how to talk. They're in their rooms chatting up. So
That's
many
what. That's
of
what.
them are
Yes,
chatting.
I,
That's
I'm.
all they
I'm.
know how
I'm.
to do.
I'm with you. I'm with you on this one, George. That's what the social media thing has brought in. It's making us to. We're all behind our devices. We're all chatting up, but the reality of those chatting, the reality of meeting physically and quad in a cordial way, in a friendly way, in a very humble way, relate with people. We don't have that. So all we do is do the chat, and it ends there. And now it's even bringing out all of these strange things they're having. Virtual relationship, virtual sex, and all these things, because people are no more in that space where they can co- do coordinate relationship in the physical way, relate with people, be engageable. A lot of people are not engageable. A lot of people cannot relate. They cannot talk, like you said. So these are factors affecting what is happening in our time now. George, I think you're putting it well. You are putting it well. That's very true. So, George,
It-
now what we
right.
want to look at is what are those steps to getting out of this mentality of I want to live my life, I want to be all alone, do my thing, and probably if I have to do anything with the female, just go whatever, get a hookup. There's something called hookup. Go a hookup, and that's it. No talk, no relationship, no engagement, nothing. Go your way, I go my way. How do we um, bypass this, George? How do we begin to? How do people get out of that mindset? It's becoming a mindset, and some
It
people
is
think
a
it's normal.
mindset. It's becoming a culture. That's
Mm.
what it is. It is becoming a culture. You know, in the past, people, before they even start living together, they will get married or they'll be engaged and preparing for marriage. This time, cohabitation is the order of the day, because it's easier to just step out and go your way if anything happens. That's one another thing that is really happening in relationship these days. So they rather somebody. I was talking to a lady one time. She wanted a baby. So I was asking her, oh, I guess, you guys are going to be getting married. I said, no, 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 I don't want no marriage. Just want a child. And I like this individual because he got good hair. I will make my child to look good. And I'm like, eh? You want to raise your baby by yourself? Well, whether he likes it or not, I'm going to do it. And another thing also that you see that is so, so bad is, you know, how do we get away from this? It is becoming so difficult to, reverse back to the way things used to be because of social media. Because in the past, when you have your culture is all that influences you. But these days, television, YouTube, social media actually interrupts the culture that we all had before. Where you can see a movie or television series where two people are cohabitating and you see it all the time, what you see always will influence your decision. What you hear always will influence what you think. So these are the things that are affecting people who just want to be like, the highest they can go is to, cohabitate with you. And when things are not going right, they pack up their loads and go. Everybody go their own way. Now everybody answers their own father's name. So that is one of the major issues that we are having. Even to go back is becoming very difficult. How would you train one of the Gen X's and Gen Y's how to communicate? It is very difficult. You know why? Number one, it used to be that when you come home, you might go play a little bit, come and do your homework. When daddy or mommy comes home, everybody sits on the table and we eat and then go watch television together.
Together.
It doesn't happen anymore. You come to a home, the living room is empty. Only the dad might be there or the mom might be there. The children are all in their rooms chatting up. So how do you teach such a person to communicate? It is difficult because outside of the home, they feel, like it's what do I call it? That you are trespassing in their space when you
Space.
want to hold a conversation with such a person.
That's what they say.
So now all of a sudden they go to jobs, they don't know how to communicate. It becomes an issue. So they rather get a job where they can stay at home and chat up in everything through communication. So it is very, very difficult because of where we are now. And another thing that has made it even diluted the importance of the institution of marriage. People are doing their own thing this way these days. This is what they want to bring to, like it's already in most developed countries. A man can marry a man, a woman can marry a woman, or, but, whatever. So those are the things that are affected. Originally, the way people used to think when they think about marriage, it is such an important institution, respectable, important institution, which they have just diluted so much that it is no longer important. So that is it. And that's those are the factors that are affecting that institution and why people
Th-
are deciding to be
This is
single
it.
rather than they
Thank
getting
you.
married.
Thank you so much, George. You're putting out good statement there. Now, George, what we also have to make our viewers understand is it is not it is not right the thinking that being single will make a person be happy or live better. Because God, in His wisdom, created man and saw that man all alone was so lonely, and He put the woman. So, and a vital part you're saying is creating relationship goes beyond even the marital thing. A man that has a family acts responsibly. He takes decisions, he does things because he's always thinking of family, wife, children. So there is a big margin between a single man and a family man, and that margin also helps in a lot of things. Some of these wild behaviors that we see, like you're saying, is because some of these young men, ladies are also they're single, so no responsibility, no, you don't have anything to to give you that mind that, I mean, what you're doing is right or wrong. You know, you're always you feel like you're in your space. You can do whatever you want. So some companies actually look into that too, to tell you how vital it is. Some companies want to know if you're married, if you're single, because they say sometimes the married man takes better decisions. He understands what to do and he knows how to go about things. George, do you know about that? You know, companies look into
Well,
that too.
you see, one of the major problems we have, laws have changed to a greater
Mhm.
degree. It used to be like if you're somebody is married, you look at them as more responsible than ever, and they are
Mhm.
willing to stay with the job for a longer period rather than playing with the job and living their household destitute. But that's no longer the case right now. So right now, even to the point that many companies are looking at institution of marriage as a burden, that you
Are you
cannot travel
serious?
when you're supposed to, where you cannot do so, they work late because you have children or you have a husband. So they look at it as a burden. So now most of them systematically might not tell you when you're married, they're not gonna hire you because of your relationship, because they don't want to be charged with discrimination, in that area. Therefore, they will just use all the excuses and choose another candidate rather than the person that is married. Because maybe the job requires you to travel a lot. Maybe the job requires you to work longer hours, which if you do as a married person with children, then there's going to be a neglect in the house. So, you see those type of little things, little foxes that are actually destroying that institution of marriage. Now, it used to be that if you were born out of wedlock, people look at it as a disgrace. These
Mhm.
days, you even have more people being born out of wedlock. As a matter of fact, in 2021, more children were born out of wedlock than within the institution of marriage. Can you imagine that? In 2021, more children were born out of is the highest rate ever
And
globally.
with this new concept of different gender, different, I mean, they are coming up with about 52 um, genders in the world. Can you imagine? With that, I think we will even have more, George. 2023, we will
But
have an increase.
50,
Mhm.
did you say 52?
Yes, that's what they are
How many
claiming.
how many letters do we have in the alphabet?
You can imagine it's 52 binary. Judge, it's not laughable because
Oh my
somehow it looks like humanity is going gaga. Humanity is going crazy. You know. So
Oh my
now you can
God.
identify as a lot of things. You can say you're this, you're that. Tomorrow you keep, you change your man, your woman, your hermaphrodite, your both sex, your not any sex, you're single, all kind of crazy.
You can
Um,
say I'm a he, or him, he, or she,
him,
it,
him. In
he,
fact,
her,
right
all those
now
type of
at the
things.
football, the female football game going on, the World Cup, there are some ladies there that are non-binary, non-gender. They are not man, they are not woman, they are just human
Uh,
being.
Another thing you have to think
Anyway, let's
about.
not leave there. Let's not go off
Another
from
thing you
our
have to
topic.
talk about is sexual fluidity.
Yes,
The ability
yes,
to choose the way you want to. It used to be the traditional ways of a man and a woman. Now it is no longer that. Okay, just
it's no longer.
imagine also the institution of this, what do you call it again? AI.
AI.
They started it in Canada here, in Toronto, they were building a place where people can go and sleep with, these idols,
Robots. Yes, you can go
robots,
on the
robotics. People
virtual
cried
thing.
out and they stopped, but
Yes,
they were almost ready to do that. So you can
that's it.
go and then, so where we are heading right now,
It's
another one that
crazy.
is going to hit so hard is slowly coming, where people will decide now to marry animals.
No, but
bestiality.
that's happening now. It happened in Mexico last month. A
The
man
one that
married
married a crocodile?
a crocodile, yes,
Yeah.
and also in Philippines, somebody married a snake. So this is it. But it just shows that human beings are curious. Human beings want to test all kind of crazy things, and this it's we completely we don't agree with some of those things. But the but there is at the end of it all, every man to his own judgment. You know, every man, even those that are in um, conventional relationship. George, do you know they are also doing some twisted things? There's a woman that came out and said all through her marriage with the husband, the way they've been having the sexual relationship is an absorbed way. So all kind of crazy things are happening, even in the normal, what we call normal um, environment. George, we're not going off the topic. It's a serious thing we're saying because it's a mindset that is building up. People think being single should be a way of life so they can live their life. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want anybody to be in their space. But we need to put it out there that it's not this is not God's plan. This is not how humanity should be. Uh, we should, at a point in time, and at a certain age, after we've grown through um, the human stage, at a certain stage, be married, settle down, have children, and build up this beautiful human family. George, what are your last words on this?
Well, one thing that I can say is this. Um, Things are happening, um,
Mhm.
and it's moving in a faster pace that we can keep up. It's a sign of the times, bro. It is a sign of the times because this is where we are in our generation, and I believe that uh, it will continue to get worse. It will not get better. It is like you put a rock on top of a mountain and it keeps rolling. But it's what you can do. Society right now cannot help anymore. It is individuals who will make up their mind the way they want to live their life. Do they want to live it in a traditional, respectable way, or do they want to live it in any other way? What we used to call the traditional way, and that is not even becoming the norm anymore. It's no longer becoming the norm. So individuals will have to use their own volition of choice to choose the way, the kind of quality life they want to live. And that's all that we
Thank you
can
very
say.
much.
And that's all.
Viewers, this is Real Talk. Real Talk, we go into relationship goals and we keep it real. We say things probably you never want to talk. George, that's another problem. That's something we need to buttress. Um, because a lot of people are shy to discuss issues that matters. So they hide the curtain. They bury their head in the sand like the ostrich, and they don't want to say some of these critical things. And saying these things out helps us understand. We learn, we grow, and we do better. So real talk. This is it. What we do here. George and I have put it out. Um, we're talking why some people stay single. Why do some people prefer to live as single or they want to remain single? Because because they feel they don't want anybody to disturb their space. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want their emotions to be bruised and all that. So we're saying this, and George has said it all. So real talk. We'll be back next week, same time. Um, it's uh, uh, we have the global timing, which is different. So same time next week, we'll be back with real talk, more good topics. George, thank you very much for coming.
And thank
Thank
you,
you.
viewers from around the world. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, real. Thank you, George. So until we come again next week, have a beautiful week. The
And
weekend
stay
is
cool
almost here.
wherever you are.
Yes, that's real talk. My name is Godwin Iwejuma, and I'm with Sir George Chukwu from Toronto. Bye-bye.